Welcome to another deep dive. This time, we're going on this incredible journey through, uh, you know, biblical text and modern music, and even a real-life tragedy.
Yeah, it all comes together.
It really does. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And it all revolves around this idea of faith and suffering and the power of resilience. So get ready, because it's a powerful story.
It really is. And it's amazing how a story from, thousands of years ago can still resonate so deeply with us today. And that's what the book of Job is. It's one of those timeless narratives that, continues to challenge us and inspire us.
Absolutely. And for those who maybe aren't familiar with the book of Job, it's this really epic story that's been debated and analyzed for centuries.
Oh, yeah.
And essentially, it's about this guy named Job, right?
Right.
He's a truly righteous man, and he enjoys immense blessings and prosperity.
He does.
And then things take a dramatic turn.
That's where it gets really interesting, right? You see Job's unwavering piety becomes, it's almost like this cosmic wager between God and Satan. Imagine that's like your life becoming this bet between divine forces.
Exactly. And in the very first chapter, God actually permits Satan to test Job to see if his faith is genuine or simply a product of his good fortune.
It's a test.
Yeah. And it's almost casual, the way God allows this to happen.
Right.
Which raises all sorts of questions about free will and whether our trials are, are they preordained or are they just random occurrences?
Like, are we really in control of our destinies, or are we just playing out a script that's already been written?
Yeah, it's heavy.
Yeah, it's a question that Job grapples with as he faces a series of really devastating blows.
And those blows come hard and fast.
They do.
In Job 1.16, it says, while he was still speaking, another messenger came. And it paints this really vivid picture of one calamity after another with no time to even process the previous one.
It's relentless.
It is. And we're not talking about minor setbacks here.
No.
Job loses his livestock, his servants, and most tragically, all of his children.
I mean, it's just hard to even comprehend that kind of loss.
It's unimaginable.
It is.
But what's truly remarkable is Job's response. He tears his clothes, shaves his head, falls to the ground, and he says, "The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised."
That's it right there, that reaction. That's the heart of the matter.
Yeah.
It's not about blind faith or, simply accepting fate. It's about finding a way to make sense of suffering, to find meaning in the midst of chaos.
So is he saying that God caused this suffering? Is he finding a way to reconcile his faith with this horrible tragedy?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? And there are many different interpretations. Some see Job's response as an act of surrender, acknowledging a higher power beyond our comprehension.
Okay.
Others see it as a testament to his unwavering faith, even in the face of unimaginable loss.
So it's like he's choosing to hold on to his faith as a source of strength and meaning,
Exactly.
even when everything else around him is crumbling.
And that's a powerful message, isn't it? That even in our darkest moments, we have the capacity to find resilience, to find a way to keep going, even when it feels impossible.
Absolutely. And what's so fascinating is that this ancient story, with its themes of suffering and resilience, has inspired countless works of art and literature throughout history. And one really striking example is the modern song Blood Pact by Emmanuel Zabar.
Oh, yeah.
And it's that same phrase from Job, while one messenger speaks, another comes, that links these two narratives across time.
Yeah.
Zabar uses this imagery to evoke the feeling of relentless tragedy, a feeling that was all too real during the First Lebanon War, the context in which the song was written.
Right.
It's almost like a direct line from the ancient world to modern times, connecting human experiences of loss and grief across centuries.
Yeah. And speaking of the Lebanon War, there's a real-life story that emerges from that conflict that echoes the cascading tragedy of Job in a truly heartbreaking way. So during the war, you have these two soldiers, both named Yuval Harel, and they're both from the same neighborhood.
Oh, way.
Yeah. And they become entangled in this tragic coincidence that mirrors the relentless blows that Job endured.
Well,
it's almost too much to even think about.
I know.
One of the Yuvals is mistakenly reported dead,
Oh, no.
sending his family into just a whirlwind of grief. But then, just as they're trying to grapple with this unbearable loss, they receive news that it was a mistake.
Oh, my God.
Their son is actually alive.
What a roller coaster.
You can only imagine the emotions, right?
Yeah.
The initial devastation and then this incredible surge of hope, relief, joy even, but fate, as it often does, had a cruel twist in store.
Oh, no, don't tell me.
Just hours after receiving this good news, the unthinkable happens. The real Yuval Harel is killed in action.
Oh,
It's
wow.
like that phrase from Job, while one messenger speaks, another comes, playing out in real life,
Yeah.
amplifying the heartbreak for both families involved.
So both families lost a son.
It's not just the families. The entire community is reeling from this double tragedy. Imagine the mothers of these two young men,
Yeah.
both grieving the loss of their sons, both named Yuval, both from the same neighborhood.
It's a story that tears at your heartstrings.
It does.
Makes you question the randomness of life, the seeming unfairness of it all.
And when you layer Zabar's song Blood Pact onto this real-life event, the lyrics take on an even deeper meaning. That phrase, while one messenger speaks, another comes, becomes a visceral expression of the unpredictable and often cruel nature of war.
Right. It's no longer just a poetic device. It's a reflection of lived experience,
Exactly.
of the emotional reality of those who have endured profound loss, particularly in times of conflict.
And this is where the connection between the ancient and the modern becomes so powerful. Job, facing the loss of his children, grapples with the same questions that must have plagued the families of the Yuvals. Why? Why them? Why this?
Those are questions that have haunted humanity for centuries. And while there may not be any easy answers, both the story of Job and Zabar's song, Blood Pact, offer a space for us to contemplate these profound questions. To explore the complexities of faith and suffering.
It's about acknowledging the pain, the grief, the anger, the confusion without trying to sugarcoat it or offer simplistic solutions. It's about sitting with the discomfort and finding a way to make sense of it all, even if that means embracing the mystery.
And I think that's what makes both the biblical story and the modern song so compelling. They don't shy away from the rawness of human emotion.
They don't.
They invite us to confront the darkness and find a glimmer of light within it. It strikes me that the Book of Job, this ancient text, and Blood Pact, a song written in the 20th century, both managed to capture something universal about the human experience.
Yeah, it speaks to the power of art to transcend time and connect us through shared emotions and experiences. You might be listening to this deep dive thousands of years after Job was written or decades after Blood Pact was composed. Yet their themes of lost grief and the search for meaning still resonate.
Right, and that's what's so amazing about this whole journey we've been on today. We've gone from ancient biblical text to modern music to a real-life tragedy, and it's all woven together by this common thread of human resilience in the face of unimaginable suffering.
It really is. I mean, think about it. You've got Job, who loses everything but still refuses to curse God. You've got the mothers of the two Yuvals who find a way to support each other in their shared grief. And you've got Zabar, who channels the pain of war into this incredibly moving and powerful song.
It's like they're all saying in their own way that even in the darkest of times, there's still a spark of hope, a glimmer of light that can guide us through.
And that light might come from faith, from community, from art, or maybe even from within ourselves. It's about finding that inner strength to keep going even when it feels impossible.
We have a link in the show notes to a 2014 interview with the mothers of the two Yuvals. It's a powerful testament to their enduring love for their sons and their ability to find strength in each other. I highly recommend checking it out if you want to delve deeper into their story.
And for those who want to experience the emotional depth of Blood Pact firsthand, we encourage you to listen to Karen Hadar's rendition. It's truly haunting and beautiful. We've included a link in the show notes for that as well.
So as we wrap up, I want to circle back to that central question we've been exploring today. If you were in Job's sandals facing a cascade of devastating events, could you find the strength to hold on to your faith or your worldview, or would you be tempted to question everything?
I don't know. There's no right or wrong answer. It's a question that each of us has to grapple with in our own way.
Maybe it's not about having all the answers, but about having the courage to ask the tough questions and to find our own path through the darkness.
Exactly. And sometimes the most profound insights come from embracing the mystery, from accepting that there are things we may never fully understand.
So as you go about your day, your week, your life, remember the story of Job, the song Blood Pact, and the tragic coincidence of the two Yuvals. Let them remind you of the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring power of hope, even in the face of profound suffering.
And remember, the next time life throws you a curveball, you have the strength within you to face it. You might find solace in faith, in art, in community, or simply in the knowledge that you're not alone in your struggles.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time for another fascinating exploration.